All yours, Adeola. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Dr. Essien, Dr. Lambert, my colleagues across the world. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm trying to share my screen to be able to present.
All right.
At this symposium. My topic drawn from the conference.
Let me stop you for just a second, if you don't mind, Adeola. Instead of going manually like this through your slides, if you press F5 on the top of your keyboard, F5 would just, okay, you've done it. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Yes, our conference theme is individual opportunities during the pandemic. I'm looking at identifying profitable opportunities during the pandemic. I'll quickly run through a few definitions. A lot have been said about the pandemic. I'm going to do any repetition. For me, what is a pandemic? Says a pandemic can simply be defined as an outbreak of a disease which occurs over a wide geographical area and typically affect a significant proportion of the population. And this was the reason why the WHO on the 11th of March 2020 declared the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic. We've already been told the fact that it started from Wuhan City in China in December of 2019. Following the lockdown in China and other countries, a whole lot of issues came up well after that. So let's quickly look at the impact of the pandemic. The coronavirus is a major disaster for all countries of the world. It took everybody unawares. It presented healthcare professionals with challenges beyond their imagination, and it affected everyone economically significantly. The scale of the current economic downturn is said to be the worst since the Great Depression, according to the IMF. Seeing opportunity in crisis. Usually when people talk about opportunity, it's about something good. You see opportunity is something good. But now we're talking of seeing something good in something bad. The Chinese word for crisis, weiji, is particularly effective in looking at this notion. The first one says wei, it says it's crisis, and ji is opportunity, indicating the positive aspect inherent in perceiving and responding to a crisis. So this is all about responding to a crisis. How do we respond to a crisis? Some people, when the crisis started, just give up. They give it all up. A lot of people believe that they cannot get over it. But within the crisis, we have found a whole lot of opportunities. However, to effectively capitalize on the opportunities that this crisis presents, we need appropriate individual and organizational capabilities, innovation and entrepreneurship. And that is what we're going to look at now. So what is opportunity? Generally, opportunity is a chance for progress, for advancement, or profit informed by a favorable circumstance or occasion, as I said earlier. Opportunity is ordinarily considered as something brought about by a good wind, but this time we're looking at opportunity brought about by a crisis. It's something presented when the situation is right for the people who may be interested in what the situation brings. Eckhart and Shane defined entrepreneurial opportunities are situations in which new goods, services, raw materials, markets, and organizing methods can be introduced for profit. I want us to note for profit. It's important to note for profit. So now let's look at individual opportunity. The individual opportunity nexus is a developing entrepreneurship theory. And the theory suggests that entrepreneurship covers the sources of opportunity. Most times when we talk about entrepreneurship, a lot of people are looking at individuals who are creating opportunities, who have what it takes, they have the skills, they are daring, they can take risks and all of that. But this developing theory says no, the, the sources of opportunities exist, and it's a function of discovering them by entrepreneurs and exploiting them to know whether the opportunities will be profitable, because it's not all opportunities that can actually deliver profit. So entrepreneurship was then defined as the discovery, evaluation, and exploitation of future goods and services. Scott Shane and Jonathan Eckert made the case that opportunities are found and discovered, not made or created by individuals. Therefore, first, opportunities exist. I want us to understand that part of it. Opportunities exist. Many people think that entrepreneurs are the ones that create opportunities, and they don't see themselves able to create opportunities. But we are saying here that opportunities exist. Then individuals discover the opportunities, then entrepreneurs exploit the opportunities. So let's understand that. And the COVID-19 pandemic has created opportunities that currently exist. So it's about exploring them, discovering them, and seeing what can be profitable for us to to get to have some recovery for the economies across the world. The problem statement. As serious and sad as the pandemic may seem, there are a whole bunch of opportunities. These opportunities need to be discovered by individuals. But the issue here is that the individuals are not informed. They do not understand how to discover and exploit opportunities. So we think individuals need to be trained on how to identify these opportunities, how to discover them and exploit them. They need to know that opportunities exist around them, even within this pandemic. Significance. This paper is important as it seeks to provide insight into opportunities that the COVID-19 pandemic presents to individuals and highlight how to identify and explore them. This study will be of great benefit to individuals across the globe, especially people who have lost their jobs and are looking out for what to do to make a living and to build the economy of the countries back. It will be useful for entrepreneurs, policymakers, policy implementers, and researchers as it promotes a new approach to entrepreneurial development. The objectives. There are three: to identify the opportunities that can be tapped into during and after the pandemic, to examine how people can tap into those opportunities during the pandemic, and to enumerate the process of tapping into profitable opportunities during the pandemic. The paper reviewed secondary data from peer-reviewed journals, other relevant publications, web pages, and so on to achieve these objectives. The literature review covered conceptual review, empirical review, and theoretical review. Now, what are the trends that present these opportunities? Well, during the pandemic, some trends emerged. Some trends emerged for us to know which way it will go. I'm taking the first one, procuring stock for companies in relevant sectors. Some sectors Let me take, for example, the travel and leisure sector have been badly hit by the pandemic, badly hit. And this has resulted in the drop in the value of their stock over the period. And so the very expensive stock that many people could not afford, they are very cheap now. And this is an opportunity for people who may be interested in that industry to tap in and invest in the stock of some of these organizations who have low value now, but in the next few months or years will 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 regain their value over time. The second opportunity we see comes from the trend that more remote working has happened during the pandemic. The lockdown has forced people to work from home. So a lot of organizations have come up with technologies to help them to run their businesses and all of that. So there is opportunity in there for people that can provide support for remote working across the globe. People can get into those businesses that will help the business process transformation to move from physical working to remote working, because the processes have changed and are changing, and businesses are changing over time. The third point there is greater use of automation in industries. Just like the remote working, uh, businesses have seen that they need to automate their organizations to ensure continuity. We have talked about the fact that organizations have shut down because they could not cope and they were not agile enough to change quickly during the pandemic. So they have gone under. But some people tried to keep afloat. They are improving on their automation, and going forward, automation is the way to go for businesses to ensure business survival and continuity. So people in business automation trade will be in high demand for the foreseeable future. I want us to pay attention to these details so we will realize where we have skills or where we can acquire skills to position ourselves to take these opportunities. The next one there is greater need for technologically skilled workers. Just following the fact that the world is going digital, there is a need for technologically skilled workers across all sectors across the globe. So acquiring the relevant competencies and skills will put individuals in high demand for this business environment. So it's time for individuals to move away from analog to digital. Are there still people who are digital? I hope not. I don't want to think so. But if there are any such persons, I want to encourage us to ensure that we move to digital, because that is what the world will require going forward. There is also increased need for portable hardware and devices. Because we have gone digital, I'm sure we are all on this symposium using our tablets or our phones or our computers, our laptops, or whatever. So people in this business their businesses are booming at this time, booming seriously, because we cannot do these things without these devices. So anyone in that field or people who may be interested in that field should explore it. Also, there is a need for softwares to support this transition. In Nigeria, I want to encourage people who may be in Nigeria or Africa who are developers to work hard, because most of the apps that we use now, the Zoom, the Skype, the Team, and all of those things are Western in origin. So there's a world of opportunity for people who are not in that sphere yet to get in there and create apps that can be locally supported and will be useful for the world at large. IT security consultants, in the same vein, everybody wants to go online and they want to ensure continuity. They don't want to be exposed to hackers. So they need IT security consultants. That's another skill that needs to be acquired critically by 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 people at this time. Going to the next slide. Greater demand for personal protection equipment and cleaning products. We've said a whole lot about that. But I want to say that it can take years to eradicate pandemics, because a lot of people think that we will soon not need them. No, it takes some time to eradicate pandemics. So as a result, there will still be high demand for personal protection equipment and cleaning products, such as face masks, gloves, sanitizers, and so on and so forth. So there are still a world of opportunities there, even post the pandemic era. Tax and income planning consultancy. Governments across the globe, they are broke, and they are trying to source how to get funds to continue to run the government. So tax is going to become a big issue, and it's already happening. So tax practitioners will be in high demand during this period, because the tax man will be after everybody: personal tax, business tax, and all those things. Accounting services is another one that is critical, because individuals and businesses have experienced hardship from 2020 to date. So everybody is looking at cutting costs. How do we cut costs? How do we keep our businesses afloat? How do we survive in our personal finances? So CPAs are in high demand all across the globe to help uncover untapped resources in tight budgets. And I can tell you they are in dire need, and small businesses especially are grabbing them left, right, and center. So if you need to acquire skills in that line, please, this is the time to do it. Increase in pandemic-related legal disputes. Because businesses closed, agreements failed, contract terms could not be met. Definitely there will be legal disputes relating to that. So lawyers, corporate lawyers, family lawyers have a whole lot of opportunities here. There will also be a spike in demand for hospital and medical services, because during the lockdown, many people with several conditions could not go to the hospitals for fear of catching the COVID-19 or overloading the health system. So after the lockdown, they're having to go for their checkups and all of that. So the hospitals came alive again, and the trend is increasing. So medical experts are also in need. The last point here is increase in funding by government, pharmaceutical companies, and other businesses for immunological and medical research.
Mm-hmm.
This is to make our world better and prepare for future infections, because COVID-19 took the world unawares. And going forward, the scientists are working very hard to ensure that such things does not take the world unawares again. So this creates opportunities for researchers. Researchers in this field, we have the opportunity to benefit from increased funding and donations, and this will progress their career going forward. We continue on the next slide, and the first thing there is increase in demand for raw food retailing. During the pandemic, most people that eat out have learned to cook at home. So they have had to request for fresh products to prepare their meals at home, and for health reasons. So there's an increase in the demand for fresh products, raw food, going forward, because people want to remain healthy and people are still trying to stay safe. And this also is going to help the agricultural businesses. So are you in farming or you are into farming? There is a huge opportunity there for you. Increase in the demand for baby products and services. There will be increase for baby products because the lockdown inevitably led to more pregnancies, and babies are being born across the world. So For example, Nigeria, we have high birth rates already. I can tell you that research will tell us shortly that the rate has increased at about this time. So there will be increase in the need for baby food, toys, clothes, diapers, utensils, and all of that. Online retailing, online shopping boomed. I remember just when the lockdown started, deliveries across the world that would normally take a day started taking 5 days, 4 days, and all of that. So there was a boom in online retailing and delivery services. It's improving, but there's still a lot of opportunity in that line of business. Online education, delivery, and learning. There is and there will be increase in the number of organizations providing remote training and education. Many educational institutions were working to digitize and modernize their teachings before the lockdown, and the investment will not be set aside after COVID-19 pandemic. So definitely they are going to promote online learning. And I truly want to appreciate our school, Atlantic International University, for this initiative that has been ever since and has been helping us. That's the only reason why we could attend school during the lockdown and during the pandemic. So I want to thank you for I want to say thank you to this entire team in the school. We appreciate that. And there is still a whole lot of opportunities for that, for people who are in the educational sector. And supporting that is virtual tutoring. Virtual tutoring. So as more schools go virtual into the unforeseeable future, there will be a need for tutoring for kids to complete their homeworks and finish their lessons while the parents are doing their work. There's a need for that. For college graduates, college students to finish their final weeks, they will need some level of support. So if you can identify the subject you are interested in, you can develop that as a good business. Mental and emotional health experts are in high demand because during the lockdown, many people were negatively and affected mentally and emotionally because of the social distancing and isolation. Depression and emotional difficulties increased. A lot of people tried many means to maintain their people's mental health, but it was difficult. So as we speak, there is an increase in demand for mental and emotional health experts across the world. So if you are interested and you don't have these skills, please, you need to get the skills. There are opportunities there. And then going to the next page, we look at fitness and wellness programs. The coronavirus made us to stay at home most of the day. So the combined anxiety and lack of activity has affected a lot of people's health. And now there's a need for fitness experts and wellness experts. So many people are now putting content online that can help people. So if you can identify where you're good, whether it's in diet, nutrition, or physical fitness, you can put content online. There are opportunities there if we cannot do physical gym. And some people are beginning to put up physical gym at this time. The next one is life coaching and career planning. Life coaching and career planning. I really want to emphasize that because it's a world of opportunity with millions of people out of job globally, and the changing nature of work. There are lots of people who require career advice and life coaching to help redirect their career focus in life. Life coaching, career planning, and mentoring services is currently in high demand. People need to know the jobs of the future, bearing in mind the fact that the world has gone digital. And the jobs of the future are definitely not going to be what we have now with artificial intelligence and the rest of them. Looking at business development and consulting services. People who want to start their own businesses will need this support. So if you are in business development, there are opportunities for you. You need to tell people how to identify opportunities, just like we're saying. We need to train people how to exploit the opportunity, how to assess them, how to know that this is an opportunity that is valid and is going to deliver profit in the future. Herbal medicine, vitamins, and supplement business. As many people attempt to boost their immune system to stay healthy and protect themselves against infection from pandemic, there is significant increase in the demand for herbal supplements. So in Nigeria, for example, a lot of people get ginger, garlic, turmeric, and all of those things and put them together and use them. And so people are taking that advantage and putting them in supplements, and the sales has grown in Nigeria as well as across the world. World of opportunities. So that takes me to specialist cleaners. Governments and organizations will continue to need specialist cleaners because they will continue to disinfect offices and public places and decontaminate them. So for the foreseeable future, this is still a very good opportunity. Party and event planning. The lockdown affected social activities negatively. And for example, in Nigeria, when the lockdown was eased, people were all out. They wanted to go to parties as usual. But the government restricted it. However, the event planners are positioning themselves to be in compliance with COVID-19 guidelines. So anyone that can provide any service, whether it's the construction part of it, to help event planners to to comply with COVID-19 guidelines, will will have a lot of opportunities to help their business at this time. Digital marketing agency is a major one across the globe, major one, because following the pandemic, like I have said, everyone has gone digital. Everyone, meetings are digital, conferences are digital, everything is digital. And so people are positioning themselves and they want to be seen on in the web space. So digital marketing agencies are in very high demand right now. Social marketing and all of that, they are in very high demand. So if you need to acquire these skills, please, let's equip ourselves, let's train others, let's get others across the world to understand that these opportunities exist and they can develop themselves to take these opportunities. You know, we have advertising, analytics, web design, and all of those things. Graphic design firm is another thing. Graphic design is another thing in support of the web marketing. Home improvement contractor is a part of it. A lot was said about construction, a lot more than home improvement. Infrastructural improvement has been said. A lot has been said about that. But at the beginning of the lockdown, many people started having home offices. There were some people who had offices in their home and found it very easy to continue their work. But for 95% or more of people who didn't have offices in their homes found it difficult to work during the pandemic. So this is informing further construction in this area of creating home office. Increase in the use of telemedicine. The use of telemedicine is on the increase because of its capacity to minimize individual circulation in the healthcare locations and the risk of spreading the disease, and also the inadequacy of the infrastructure. So telemedicine is gaining ground. People are consulting online, prescribing online, and that has helped a lot of people across the globe. It's a versatile one, and I encourage medical people to explore it. Now, looking at how to position people, how to prepare people for these opportunities. Eckhart and Shane, again, postulated the direction of entrepreneurial process, saying that first and foremost, opportunities exist and individuals have to discover them. Having discovered them, they have to exploit them to ascertain their profitability. So how do you find out the existence of opportunities? COVID-19 crisis has created opportunities for individuals to tap into, and we have listed some of them. I know there are other opportunities across. The trends identified above can improve efficiency and productivity of the workforce, potentially reducing the cost of doing business in the long term. This can only happen when individuals know how to discover and explore these opportunities. When they identify these opportunities, the next thing is to explore them. The process of discovery describes how individuals acting alone or within firms perceive of a previously unknown or unseen way to create value. Individual discovery is a misleading concept, and that is the basis for the individual opportunities nexus theory. It's a misleading concept as it implies that sufficient information exists during a moment for initial perception to assess whether the probability exists that an opportunity does in fact exist, saying that an opportunity is when it is profitable. So when we look at all of these profit opportunities listed, if we cannot ascertain that they are profitable, then it's a problem. They further explain that individuals cannot tell a profitable opportunity at the time of initial perception. They need to be able to predict the relevant factors. And what are these relevant factors? Number one, the parameters of future market demand. Will there be a demand for this product in the future? That has to be ascertained. The capacity to convince people to commit adequate resources to effectively pursue the opportunity. Will people be willing to commit funds into that project? That's the number two question for that. Going to the exploitation. Exploitation of opportunities get individuals to acquire resources, engage in markets making activities that change prices and provide information. This process of interactions and exchanges provides information that increases the mutual awareness among market participants about the characteristics of the opportunity, and the information can either encourage or discourage the person pursuing it. So once we get the relevant information, it will inform us whether we should pursue that opportunity or jettison it for another thing. So how do we enhance this exploitation? We promote entrepreneurship training. It's important. It's online, it's available. We can do tailor-made training for people across the globe, anywhere. Promote university to entrepreneurship transition training. Promote network development that can teach people how to start their own business, how to ascertain their opportunities and ensure that it's profitable, and maintain investment in the startup ecosystem to ensure incubators and accelerators continue to play their important roles in the medium term, and the coaching and mentoring in the long term. In conclusion, business opportunities, especially online now, are endless and all-inclusive. The beauty of technology is that it has made the world a global village, and that's why we can be holding this symposium here today. And this significantly helped in managing the COVID-19. I want to say thank you to Atlantic International University again. The recovery from the pandemic will also be aided by technology. So we must all embrace technology. Individuals must embrace and engage technology to take advantage of the numerous opportunities presented by the pandemic towards individual, national, and global recovery, while policy intervention should be engaged to enhance the ability of individuals to take advantage of existing opportunities. Recommendation: individuals should explore opportunities, governments should create enable environments, and researchers must not stop researching to ensure that we continue to provide information on ways ahead. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adeola Essien. That was a very huge display of opportunities during the pandemic. I have also observed some comments made by the attendees, and what transpired through those comments is simply that people were really satisfied. There are opportunities that you mentioned, Adeola, which people were not aware of, and some of them have even pledged to go and explore further what they can find in terms of opportunities for them in the areas where they perform, in the areas where they are, so that they cannot be left behind. An outstanding presentation. Not too much time for us, so let's go to the questions. But before we do that, if you would turn off your presentation, Adeola, so that we can see whoever has a hand up at this time. Let's see, there we go. Thank you very much. Questions, ladies and gentlemen, about opportunities exactly as they are, not in abstract terms, but exact areas where you could go. For example, Adeola mentioned the digital world. There are plenty of opportunities in the digital world. You could develop an app, you could have some type of presence on the web, and there are so many other things. Security and communication and cleaning, legal advice, hospital services, plenty of opportunities. It's just a matter of identifying them and grabbing them for yourselves. Your questions, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Dr. Lambert.
One of the participants, Hajara, asked, where are the opportunities in agriculture?
You have an answer for that, Adeola?
So if Adeola can be more specific.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
Well, the question is whether there are opportunities in the field of agriculture during the pandemic. If you have any idea of what is out there in that field.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Like I mentioned, there was an increase in the demand for raw food.
Ah, yes. Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Okay.
There was an increase for that, and as we go forward, that increase is going to continue because people are health conscious and they are still trying to stay safe. So that goes back to agriculture.
Fully agree.
The agricultural value chain is still open. The only thing that did not stop during lockdown or anything was our eating. People still had to eat.
Yes.
And so the farmers had to continue work.
Yes.
So there's a world of opportunity for us through the agricultural value chain.
All right, Dr. Lambert.
Dr. Valcine, if I could follow up on that?
Yes.
Doctor, can I say something, please?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hobson, do you want to talk?
Hobson, yes.
Yes, I want to say something. First of all, my name is Ali Bobson Kamara, and I'm pursuing a doctorate in business administration.
Okay.
And this one goes to Adeola, Essien. Adeola, and I guess we should be talking about the disadvantage than more opportunities. But
wow,
having said that, and we look at things really, and like from other countries, maybe you said that perspectively from your own country, because we wondering that we have been disadvantaged, especially for us in Sierra Leone. There have been opportunities, global warming. There's nothing that is moving. So I was just thinking that because if your piece may be published, then people just do a contract on a critics. It was like, really? Although there are some measures, equilibrium that is unbalanced. Maybe the scale is up there and for us is down there. Because I was just thinking, well, opportunities. Because if I were you, maybe I would have wrote upon something that we did, the meaning, the adverse effects that will have been before, because the global warming, the percentage, the growth rate, the per capita model is being down, and agriculture is not moving. Education was tough over and here in Sierra Leone, and it was tough. Disease, and so at least this pandemic is creating a worse than an opportunity. So it's like really stumble with this. Although your point, it might be eligible to your own country. And it's not a contract. Stop. I'm not trying to say something to demean, please. But I just figure it out, sir.
Okay, that is Sierra Leone. What's your position, Adeola?
Okay. Bobson is a matter of perception.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
actually the theme of this conference was individual opportunity during the pandemic. And if you started with us, you will remember that I looked at the Chinese definition for a pandemic, which talked about crisis and then opportunities, saying to us that there's always something good even in the bad. So we understand, and the whole world, even my country, experienced all of these downsides that you mentioned. But here we are getting together and looking at the positive side and opportunities that can encourage people to move ahead again, people to pick up again, people to start again wherever they find themselves. So it's not a case of the fact that my country did not experience any downturn. We all did. Schools were shut down. Our public universities were shut down for almost 14 months in this process before they were opened in the last 2 months or something, and all the rest of them. The agricultural value chain had its own problem. The transportation system did not work during the lockdown. A lot of products were wasted and all of that in that process. So we had this, but what are we saying? Which way forward? We are still here, and we have to make things better for ourselves and for our world. So it's about perception. And following the theme of our conference, of our symposium, it is actually a deliberate theme by AIU, which I'm very happy with and proud of, that for people to be able to take another look and see that there are opportunities that can get us out of this rut. And that's why I took that approach.
All right. Thank you very much, Adeola. Before we move to any other attendee, I recall there was a comment you were about to make, Dr. Lambert. I don't know if you want to finish that comment.
Hello.
Well,
Hello.
I was just going to ask that people, like she's saying, people are still eating, but they're not eating like in restaurants as much as before. Are there new opportunities for serving food?
Okay.
Did you hear the question,
yes,
Adeola?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yes, people aren't eating in restaurants, but the opportunity that exists for serving food is
No, at all.
delivery system, the e-commerce, whatever, for food business. So there are times that even here in my country, someone asked which country am I from? I'm from Nigeria. Even here in my country, there are times that you're just tired of cooking and you want to eat that food out there. But because of the pandemic, you can't go. So what happens? You just place a call and place an order for whatever you want. So that is why that line of business is still booming. The dispatch business, the delivery business, the e-commerce business is still on. So that's the alternative for sitting out to eat.
All right.
Some people still do sit out within constraints in line with COVID guidelines, but not as much. And some people are also still timid.
Yes.
Because they're afraid of getting infected when they get out to the restaurant.
Very important points, Adeola, indeed. Now, there are some other hands. I don't want these attendees to be frustrated. If I could go now to Wiswen Co-op. Wiswen, I see your hand up, but your mic and your camera are off. If not Wiswen, I also see the hand of Dr. Peter Anzaku. Dr. Peter Anzaku, we could turn the floor to you right now. Amani Kinja, all those hands are up, but both microphones and cameras are off as well. The hands are up. Dr. Peter, but we need your Amani Kinja. Okay, I can see you, Amani.
Yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Let's finish with Amani Kinja, and then we will go back to you, Dr. Peter.
Okay,
Amani?
sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. Franklin. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Amani Kenja. I'm from Tanzania. I'm doing a master's degree in telecommunications at AIU. First of all, I would like to thank Adeola for the well-presented presentation, very informative, very much up to details, very relevant for the times that we go through. And in this presentation, it reminds me of the 3 words, and those are adapt, adopt, and adapt. Okay, so we have to change to adapt to the new environment, the new norm. And we have in this process, we also have to accept it and make ourselves better to be able to really capture these opportunities and really live our lives as God wanted us to live, wants us to live actually. So, and I also thank her for the knowledge that, now I know one Chinese word that is Wei Ji, crisis opportunity. And I really believe that in every crisis, in every challenge, there are numerous opportunities if you look carefully into them. So thank you very much, Adeola, for that. And I've now understood really, even in the environment that we are in Tanzania, apparently we have decided not to really lock ourselves down. We have businesses as usual. People are working as usual, although I'm working from home because of the company policy, because it's an international company and we take precautions. But most of the people work normally. And I can see there's a huge growth in economy in Tanzania because people have taken up the opportunities that the pandemic has brought up. Farmers are producing more and selling outside the country and realizing a lot of profits from that, etc., etc. The list is endless. So I would like to thank again Adeola for this very educative presentation.
Thank you, Amani. Turning the floor now to Dr. Peter. We're with you now, Dr. Peter. Where are you? All right.
Yeah, I'm speaking. I want to extend my regards to the entire AIU community and Dr. Vasin. It has been long we've met, and thank God we're meeting on this platform again. I really am impressed with this symposium. I try as much as possible. I was in Abuja almost 4 days ago, and I just came back this afternoon, back to Lagos through flight. And I just joined the presentation halfway, though I came late into the symposium and then logged in. And then I was so impressed with almost every presentation we had. The man from Angola, now back to Nigeria. I've been having a series of presentations. And so I'm overwhelmed by all their presentation. Actually, I'm a member of AIU students. I had my PhD in public health from AIU. I had my BSc from public health from AIU. And I had my postdoctor of science in public health from AIU. And now presently I'm doing PhD in health economics, which means I'm part of the AIU family, back and front. I am an assistant director with National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. And when the speaker was talking, that reflected when there was complete lockdown, that pandemic lockdown last year. From March, ending March to April, around April, down to this year, about 14 months. All along, we've never stopped working. For those of us on the management cadre, we were working as essential workers. I work at the level of the nation's seaport. And then there were still goods coming into the seaport. The food and drugs were still coming to the seaport. And we were doing skeletal services, essential services, along with some basic agencies like customs, immigrations were there. And what I saw, the available opportunity, were on the part of the farmers, which my presenter from Nigeria presented. In fact, instead of having the relapse of, somebody was talking of ecosystem, somebody was talking of global warming, I look at it, it was not affecting Nigeria. Rather, I saw the farmers were gloomy. I saw an ICT were on the perfect rise. Now, my government declared people from grade level 12 down to level 1, they had to stay at home. And they were working online, which means everything they key in, everything they were doing is via online. Then you consider another opportunity. Then the ICT business was an increase. The e-commerce was talking about e-registration from the Court of the Food and Drug Administration in Nigeria was also in the increase. The e-portal, e-keying, e-clearance of goods and services were also doing. The e-clearance of the imported drugs, exported drugs was also being keyed. So it was an increase from the skeletal services, which means exploring the available opportunities during the pandemic to us was a blessing. I look at it on the aspect of agriculture that my brother asked. In fact, it was not me. People, they were also essential workers during the COVID pandemic in Nigeria, the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, it were those who are farmers. In fact, they were sustained. That's the only thing that was not locked down, the food production. The entire market, I remember where I stayed. The Lagos state government has to go extra mile to even open extra market, additional markets, market where the food stuff can come in. And so fresh food supply, raw food supply were on the increase. And the farmers were having intense pressure to produce more during the the COVID pandemic. And therefore the lockdown has not affected us. We've not even seen the effect. And so that's the measure that the government adopted. Apart from, despite Nigeria has the casualty, now presently at the rate of, we lost, like we have a casualty about like 1,500 deaths, but it is even we have about more than 200,000 that were infected. I remember I presented something like this and about the COVID update, and I was invited as a resource person in one of the television stations in Nigeria that belong to the government. And as an expert, as a resource person, with the knowledge from AIU, I presented my case. And one of the things I advocated was exploring the available opportunities in agriculture, exploring the available opportunities in the digital marketing and e-commerce, e-registration, and other things as available. And then we can see today, my sister is presenting it. And I was shocked when I saw those things. And to me, it's a blessing. And therefore, I want to applaud AIU for having this available opportunity. And I'm very happy to have participated in this symposium. And then more grace to my sister because he said it. Well, in the other African countries, they look at it as worrisome. In other African countries, it was disadvantaged. But to us as Nigeria, with a large population, about 250 million, it was an available opportunity for to explore. So therefore,
very powerful statement from you. Very
Yes, sir.
powerful statement from you, Dr. Peter and Zako, and we would, of course, love to hear a little bit more of that, but we're running out of time. I'm trying to see if I can create room for 2 more attendees. We have just 5 minutes. Please make the questions real quick so that eventually Adeola can have some time to respond. I'll turn the floor now to Teresa Munda, and then we will go next to Cece Jules Haba. First, Teresa, please turn there we go. Your question, Teresa, welcome again.
Everyone, I'm sorry I was not really following, but I thank God I was able to follow Adeola presentation. It was good.
Okay.
I'm studying bachelor's degree in media and communication, and I'm from Sierra Leone. The presentation was good. I'm exploring opportunities, but for us in our own country, it was very difficult. Although we experienced COVID-19. We were one of the countries who experienced COVID-19 at the later part. We experienced our first case on March 31st last year. But with that still, we are still finding everything very difficult in terms of, Adeola was talking about agriculture, everything, the food, everything was very difficult for us here in Sierra Leone. Although the opportunities were there, and we are not having too much of cases and not too much of death, but everything was difficult.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Teresa Munda. The last thing from Cece Jules Haba, if you're ready, very quick, please turn your microphone on. Cece Jules Haba. All right, we're listening to you, Cece.
I'm Cece Jules Haba. I'm from the Guinea, West Africa, Guinea-Conakry.
Okay.
I'm a role in the bachelor program in the AIU for the information technology and computers major. I'm actually for 4 years. For 4 years now, I design and I implement a data collection system to collect data from poor people, children less than 5 years old, and mobile buffering women. I mean, from 15 to 45, to get the card from my system and go to healthcare center to get free the how they call the consultation and to get medicine free. And the World Bank, which is my founder, can compensate now the healthcare centers quarterly. Okay, my question is, I have 2 questions. The first is, there is IT part, as I'm an IT, and there is another government level part for these opportunities tap into, I mean, the opportunities taken from the pandemic. For the government part, question related. As I say, you can see my, I send message to everyone. My only concern pandemic opportunities issue related is that government make profit more than facing the threat to stop it. Make more money for themselves means instead of focusing on fighting properly against the pandemic and save more and save more than more people from being contaminated. What is your opinion about it, Madam Adeola?
Adeola.
Yeah, question. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Cece.
Yeah.
I don't work for government. Yes. I work with the private sector.
Okay.
You know, so I do not have facts to say they make profit from it, but I think a good government should have at heart the interest of the people.
Yes.
And to ensure that they're protected and supported all the way. And that is happening across the globe, as much as I know. I don't know much about Guinea, but even here in Nigeria, with all the challenges, we find governments providing funding, financing, even for small businesses who are exploring various opportunities, some of which are listed. We find government providing funding for existing businesses who cannot pay their staff. We find government providing funding for medical people who need to touch up or build up their hospitals to support the whatever. So globally, I think government supports their people. I don't work
you.
for government, so I don't know much about
Thank
what
you very,
happens.
very much,
Thank you.
Adeola. You
Thank you, sir.
could understand the huge interest that all our attendees had in your presentation. And that has been really a plus, a very great plus in this symposium of Atlantic International University. Thank you very much again, Adeola.
Thank you very much.
As you can understand,